Aïko, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. This is Aïko, and she is an amazing individual who has been in the startup space for the last 5 years, and she's just launched InFounders at infounders.org. And this is an organization, it's a not-for-profit, and she's going to be doing masterminds for entrepreneurs. And so really super awesome. And thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Feeling quite flattered to be here.
So today we were talking, as we launched today, our topic of the day around getting over the fear of sales. And I know that you help a lot of entrepreneurs as they start their businesses. You help them to get over those fears. And so I wanted to help you, maybe from your perspective, give the audience a little bit of help with some things that they could be thinking about that they can help them get over those fears.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think you're right. A lot of people, when they're looking at starting a new business, there's a lot that needs to get tackled at the same time, and things can get a bit overwhelming. And for having run my business, for, seeing you kind of launching all of this, it gets very overwhelming. And one of the first things that tends to happen is that even when people are able to get through everything, a lot of the time there's a massive imposter syndrome, right? So let's say all the grind work is getting done, and they're finally kind of in front of their client, or they're finally getting their opportunity, and they're starting to wonder, do I actually deserve the right to be there? And I find that really interesting because, to a certain extent, it seems like, when we are paid by someone to be somewhere as, an employee by an employer, then everything is justified. And when it becomes our own gig, now we are our own branding, we are our own identity, and we don't have a boss telling us, you deserve to be there. So imposter syndrome is definitely one that keeps on appearing, and it's a tricky one because it's a huge amount of mindset. A lot of the time, just by being around other entrepreneurs that have also done it, and that will tell you, yes, it's a very normal thing. People are able to go through it. But that's why I think, masterminds have been great, because just by having people talking to one another, having the possibility to share about this, and then seeing other people who have gone through this and overcome that, makes a huge amount of difference. So definitely, like, if you're an entrepreneur wondering about this, like, go talk to other people, because we all go through this. It's normal, and you're not an imposter. Chances are you're doing an amazing job, and the world deserves to know about it.
100%. And full disclosure, I've been in one of Aiko's masterminds, and they're amazing. And I also found having the other people there to even have that sounding board from your ideas, so that how brilliant they are, and then another person's perspective who you may respect, being able to say to you, hey, you are doing some amazing things in this world. Yeah. And it can dispel that imposter syndrome. So what else you got for us?
Yeah. The other thing that tends to happen, so another thing that we talk about in Mastermind is also like your progress, right? And we go through kind of tracking, how people are doing from, week to week, month to month. And one thing that, I've realized personally, because, I've gone through, a lot of times some tasks don't get done. Your to-do list just gets bigger and bigger, and it seems able to go through things. And one of the thing that, by working with entrepreneurs, like, we got to see very quickly, is that the list actually include huge chunks of things to do, right? So it would be, let's say, something as like, write a business proposal, right? Or, okay, get your first clients. And these are such massive tasks that, to a certain extent, they're untackleable, right? And it sounds like just a really big, overwhelming thing that you need to face, and that you need to confront. And really, tasks should not be about that. Tasks should be something that are simple to do. They should be something that, might not be pleasant to do, but the lack of clarity a lot of the time, and the lack of focus in a task, is the number one reason why tasks don't get done, right? So when you do have a big thing to tackle, like, definitely take the time to break it down into small consumable chunks. And that way you will actually progress. And, obviously it would feel great to do a big thing today, but actually, if you have a big task that looks a bit unsurmountable, what ends up happening a lot of the time is that, like, a week will go through and you haven't done anything. So instead, break it up into a few smaller tasks, do them as the days go, And then before you know it, you'll be done with this, and then you'll be able to move on to the next thing. And then when you, meet the fellow people, yes, at the mastermind, let's say, like, then you actually have something to show for. And yes, and also I think it's also kind of this boost of self-esteem that comes up, right? When you see yourself progressing, then you feel confident to progress further. That helps also with the imposter syndrome. All of these things are tied in together. So
this is one of the things I found in launching even this endeavor was is to really get very micro on the things that I want to, those rocks I want to move every week, to moving forward every day. And then that allowed me to get to the place I'm at. Amazing.
Right. And ultimately it's a mix of different things, right? Like once in a while, obviously it's super important to resurface to the top to make sure that what you've been working on is the right thing and that you're heading in the right direction. But yes, when it's time to, get shit done, like then go to the micro level. Did I just say this? Okay. Yeah. But yes, like obviously get to the micro level, right? Like get onto these things that, are worth your time or worth doing. And then you'll actually keep on moving, and it's going to be these small steps, and it's going to add to clarity. And one more thing is that when you start having employees, it also helped to have very clear tasks, right?
Yes.
For them to do. So obviously start practicing with yourself and start, start doing it.
Yeah, I always found that as I was looking at that strategy, and if something I didn't just continue to say yes to the strategy or every element of it. I was getting good at eliminating the things that actually weren't going to achieve the goal or were just the extras. And if I took away those extras and just got really clear on the things that are going to actually work and get me to the end goal quicker. So saying no, I found also really helped moving forward. So.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Next thing you got for us.
Next. So ultimately it's great if it's, all of this wraps up to say that, fear is based on a whole lot of different things. And yes, one big nugget that seems unrelated, but that is really related is just accountability, right? When you have someone to hold you accountable, it makes a heck of a difference. And that, and one of the things that I keep on seeing is that, people that are employed in a job will do insane things, right? They will cold call and they will, go pass on flyers and things that, maybe is not part of their personality. But when they need to do it for themselves, it becomes really, really hard, right? So if you have someone who can spot you for accountability, that also makes a really big difference. Because ultimately you have someone that you respect that, will spot check on you. It needs to be someone's time who you really respect, and, and making sure that really these calls or these meetings are about, checking in on you, and no excuse is valid at this point, right? Like have goals that, yes, in the corporate world, we talk a lot about SMART goals. But that's it, like have goals that, can be accurate, can be trackable, and then, set yourself some goals, let your accountability partner, buddy, whoever it is, someone that you care for, ideally not your, partner in real life, but someone who's got like a bit of weight in terms of, someone you respect. And then, like ask them to spot you, right? And just, you will already feel awkward that they're doing this for you. So you better be doing these tasks. And and that's great. Like I've seen
Lisa, hold me accountable.
Yes, do it. Absolutely. Why not? Amazing. So, and it's, like our business doesn't need to get stuck in our head. So ask for help if you need it. Like,
superhero entrepreneurs need to ask for help every once in a while. And so, all right, let me recap. So we got combating imposter syndrome, which is really something that happens at any stage of any business, I find. I've encountered lots of entrepreneurs that have that. Lack of clarity in the tasks that you're looking to achieve can help actually hold you back in what it is you're about to do. And then looking for accountability and getting somebody that you respect to actually hold you accountable to all those things that you may even fear doing, and push you and egg you on to get over those things. Amazing. So superhero entrepreneurs, here it is. You need to get some accountability going. Okay. So what I want to hear from all of you, because this is, straight from Aïko, what I want to hear from all of you in the comments is pick something you want to be held accountable to. And we're going to be checking in later this week. By the end of the week, let's give it Friday. I want to know if you've been able to achieve that, and I want to help you hold you accountable for those things. So list out what you're going to be accountable for, and then we're going to be following up with you on that. Okay. So Aiko, just to leave off, maybe you want to talk a little bit about, just to share with the group a little bit about what it's like working together with me, seeing me in a mastermind. You've heard me talk and
Yes,
live and stuff,
yes,
just to give people some perspective on this.
yes.
Give you.
Okay. So yes, full disclosure. Yes, Daniel and I were in a mastermind group. And this is not that I was hosting. I was genuinely in it, as in, talking about my problem, full on participating, right? So here's this guy who comes in, right? Daniel, completely unpretentious. People start having some questions about, I mean, let's be honest, like most businesses have some issues with sale at one point or another, right? Like if you don't have issue with sales, it's just that you're not there yet. Like these things happen, okay? So yeah, so we're kind of going around the room, like having, talking about different challenges that we're having. And for every single one of us, like Daniel, you just came in with killer advice. And for me, it's actually so rare to see this, people that have really tactical hands-on advice, right? I hear a lot of fluff, especially in sales, or I hear things that don't necessarily match people's personality, as in like, no, you need to keep on pushing. And your approach is actually to be like, no, but wait a second, like think about the person to whom you're selling, right? Think about like, what's the impact of, them getting this email or getting this follow-up from you. And so like the way you actually bring up recommendations and suggestions have been always very different based on everyone's situation.
Yeah.
And has been like, and I don't know, I just see like people riveted on their seats when you do come up with feedback, because it's the type of advice that I think we look for, like, online and everything. And you're actually able to give a person, based on their client, based on their personality and all of this, a recommendation for sales that was always like incredibly well tailored, right?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, and this is not me sugarcoating it. Like I'm dead honest here. Like you were fantastic. And I like the thing that I wish I could see you do more of is just these like on the spot advice to people. Cause I think you absolutely like nail it every time. And yeah. And I mean, our group has done significantly better because of you, right? Like, let's be honest here. Like, I think you have shaped most people's like, perspective on sale in our group, thanks to your advice. And now, I'm seeing how everyone is doing so well. And it's fantastic. So like a big thank you to you.
Well,
and yes, personally, like I also hopped on a call with you because all right, let's talk about this. So I had sent Daniel like a little short email being like, hey Daniel, I'm thinking of, sending this to potential clients. What are your thoughts? Just quick feedback. Yes. And you were just kind enough to send me an email back and be like, Aiko, let's hop on a call together.
Yeah.
So all right, I'm kind of like laughing out of my embarrassment right here. But yes, in this email that, I thought was all nice and clear. What I was doing was to just pitch like prospective, clients on selling them something. And you were like, but Aiko, wouldn't it make sense to like build a relationship with them? Right. And I think somehow
take them to dinner first,
Exactly.
Buy a bottle of wine, a little courting before going to bed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the analogy that I kept on like having. It's okay. Don't ask people. Yeah, I'm going to be crude here, but yes, like don't ask people to have sex with you on like the first time you shake their hands, right? Like
exactly.
This just does not work.
No.
So I actually really appreciated that you broke it down for me in many steps. And you were just telling me like, like back then we were talking about a website that was launching and you were just telling me like, no, but just initially inform them that the website is there and that, your name is appearing here. And then that's it, right? If you get a response from them, great, follow up with, XYZ. And if you don't, well then, keep on informing them when there are things for them. But ultimately selling is more like giving a service to them, right? And I've heard this a lot, but I think you are the first one that actually kind of drove drove the point through for me and really made me understand how much of a difference this can make. And it's to say that, yes, I'm not saying that, selling is a service because of, to make me feel better about selling. It's that like genuine selling and good selling, I think should be like this, right? It's to say, I have something to offer. If you're interested and if this creates value for you, let me know, right? I'm here. And I'm not trying to push onto, to push you onto something that you're not interested. And that was the first thing that was like really eye-opening for me. The second thing that you did, which was kind of the big aha moment, was that, yes, you told me, okay, so, once you have this process and you know like how many emails you're going to send and you know the type of email that you're going to send in what order, make sure you call them. And I was like, okay, we don't do calling. Like it's a website that I have and I'm talking to other people that, you know, are also online. Like we don't call. But yes, ultimately I was doing B2B calls, B2B sales. And what you were telling me is that, no, like these people have an office somewhere and they have a phone number. And if you are able to call them, then instead of just your email being another email in their inbox that they just don't care of because they see from Aiko and they're like, who the heck is Aiko? Like instead, it actually becomes the email of the person who just left them a voicemail, right? Because yes, my biggest argument to calling was, but Daniel, no one will pick up the phone. And you were like, I know, but that's the thing, right? Just have a script ready so that when they don't pick up the phone, you actually, like you're actually able to just leave them a message and be like, hey, you know, like Aiko just calling, blah, blah, talking about this. You know, sorry, I missed you. Let me send you a quick email to follow up, right? And then this email in their inbox becomes something meaningful for them. And they're like, oh, it's this voice that I heard. And even if we never talk, I'm a bit more human to them. And that makes a heck of a difference.
And so, here I'm going to interject with a piece. If you've made it this far in the video, here's a value add for you, okay? Most people don't realize, because they haven't worked in corporate, if you are doing B2B sales to other corporations, voicemails these days are emails, because what happens is the voicemail gets either transcribed in some cases, and the audio file is then attached to an email which is sent to people, because most organizations have gone to VoIP systems and they actually plug a headset into a computer. So essentially, when you do send them a voicemail, you're sending them an email.
Yeah.
It becomes the new way of email. And if you live in Canada, you can't actually just solicit emails directly. And so by leaving them a voicemail, you've sent them an email. Hello, good morning. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's okay. This is exactly what I mean, is that Daniel just comes in and boom. Yes, exactly. So no, thank you. Because I think you offer so much value and you've offered me so much value. So I am incredibly, insanely excited for what you're building, and you are my sales superhero by far.
Oh, thank you, Aiko.
Yeah.
Well, okay, listen, thank you so much for your time tonight and that wonderful little testimonial. That was very nice. It makes me feel so wonderful.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks so much for taking that time out and sharing some of your genius. And again, guys, let's look for, I want to look for those accountability notes. I want to be able to hold you accountable for something you'd like to do with either in the program, something you've been wanting to tackle, and just see how accountability can help you within your business. So thanks again for joining us. Aiko, thanks again, and take care.
My pleasure. Thank you.